following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making their way to the ring.
Live from the AfterBuzz TV studios, it's Making Their Way to the Ring with Lilian Garcia.
Applause all the way around. And welcome everybody to Making Their Way to the Ring. It's an exciting day. We have a lot of news. A lot of news. I am Lilian Garcia. You can catch me at Lilian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter, and you can also catch me on my Lilian Garcia official fan page on Facebook. LilianGarcia.com has everything as far as all the podcasts too from AfterBuzz TV. And with me, we have the former senior producer of TMZ. He is now the editor-in-chief of ProWrestlingSheet.com, Ryan Satin.
Thank you. And you guys can follow me at Ryan Satin on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you can follow my website at Wrestling Sheet on all of those as well. And like you said, it's been a busy week.
Busy.
Like I've had so much stuff going on. You've had so much stuff going on. So many cool interviews that you've done. We got AJ Styles on the show today. How cool is that?
Phenomenal AJ Styles. Oh my gosh. I mean, WWE has been so awesome allowing me to interview the current roster. You know, we do it all here, but they've been really cool. And then getting to, you know, I saw AJ backstage. We were trying to get him backstage and at Staples Center. And crazy day though. I mean, it's just short day.
Yes.
You know, short days in the West Coast because the show goes on so early for the West Coast.
I didn't think about that. When you guys are on the West Coast, it's much more difficult, much more, less time. I never thought about that.
It starts at 4. But then, you know, Raw starts at 5, and so there's so much, and they're, you know, getting to the ring, I mean, getting to the arena around 12 or so. So the day is like 4 hours versus getting there at 12, and then it doesn't go until 8, right? So there's so much going on, and AJ, a little busy these days.
Wait, I never thought about that. So when you guys are on the West Coast, they don't have to get there earlier? They still get there
They still just 2 hours early, but and then 2 o'clock on East Coast. Okay. But you think about it, it's still a longer, I don't know, there's still...
No, it makes sense what you're saying. I'm just trying to think if they have to, like, they're not getting there at 9 a.m., they're getting there at 12. That makes sense.
Yeah, 12 o'clock, which, you know, by the time you eat and all of that, you're really not getting anything going to around 2, and then, oh my gosh, in 2 hours starts the show.
And then fitting in an hour interview makes it a little more difficult.
Well, and he's got a lot going on because he's got the match that he's, you know, dealing with. He's got media that he's dealing with backstage. He's got promos that he's trying to learn, and at the same time, you know, go over everything. So what we decided to do, he was so awesome, though, because he came up to me and he goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't get to your interview. He goes, but I want to do it. So set me up, you know, let's do it via Skype. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
Great. Oh,
yes.
Man. I can't wait to see that.
So it was phenomenal. I'm not just going to throw that out there. It was phenomenal. He shared so much about his life, things that I did not know about him. He's got 4 kids that he's raising at the same time as being here. He talked a lot about the abuse that he went through with his dad.
Oh, interesting.
Which was really tough. My gosh, I mean, really, if you think of some of the times, you know, when you grow up this way, but like he said, hey, who hasn't had stuff and whatever, like, but his faith is huge, and we spoke about that, about, you know, being in the wrestling world, and faith is not really talked about in the wrestling world, right? But like he mentioned, he says it's kind of one of those things that you don't really talk about it a lot anywhere anymore. So he spoke about that. His little girl came into the interview. Aww. She was adorable.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, so it was really great, and we are definitely going to bring that up to you guys in a few minutes, but we've got just a couple things to go through. First of all, WrestleMania. Oh my God, coming up in just a few weeks. It's crazy.
Fastlane's over. We're almost there.
Yeah, so at WrestleMania, I'm going to be busy, which I'm really excited about because that's the way I like to do it. I don't have my exact schedule yet. I'm being invited by WWE to go there. And I do know that I am going to do Access for WrestleMania, so that's cool. I am going to be at the Hall of Fame. I'm going to obviously be at Mania and then be at the Raw afterwards. And I'm also going to do WrestleCon on Saturday. That one I do know that is Saturday during the day. Really excited about that. I'm sure I'm going to see so many people that I used to work with.
Have you ever done a WrestleCon before?
No.
This is your first time doing one? Honestly, WrestleCon is one of my favorite things of WrestleMania weekend. I love I didn't get to go last year, but I went the year before.
Yeah.
And like you said, because you worked with so many of those people that are going to be there, it's like this fun reunion that I prefer it over Access just because it's like these little.
Don't say that too loud.
No, I love Access. No, don't get me wrong. Access is super cool. It has all those signings with actual superstars and all the cool things that you can do there. I don't dislike Access, but it's cool for WrestleCon because they're all so close. You know, it's like these little tables where everyone's in a row. So you'll see like in a row, it'll be like Scott Steiner, The Godfather, Mick Foley, and they're all like in a row of people. And I love it personally.
They're bringing a lot of people there for the first time. There's a lot of first timers.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, and WWE's been very supportive of them, which is really great too.
That's really cool.
And I hear that the venue is going to be it's really close to where we're at.
Oh, is
and stuff.
it?
Yeah. So I hear it's going to be great.
Because that's definitely key when you have to do both of how close it is.
I'm excited just to get back and meeting with the fans.
You're gonna love that. There's literally gonna be a huge line of fans that are waiting to see you. I mean, I know I have a friend that one year that I went to WrestleCon where he spent like $1,500 in photos and stuff because he just wanted to see all his favorite wrestlers. So you're gonna have a lot of people coming to say,
well,
hey.
I haven't done a signing since I left.
Oh, so you're gonna love this.
This is my first one, like I said. So Access, I think, will be first. I believe I'm doing Access on Thursday. I'll find out more, but and then this one on Saturday. But it'll be really nice.
That's awesome.
To get together with everybody.
And it'll be cool to hear feedback on the show from fans and stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get to hear face to face since you put so much work into this. It'll be cool for you to hear how what they think about it.
Yeah, I mean the response has been outrageous already, so it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And then we have so this Sunday I'm actually leaving and I'm going to Spain.
I'm jealous.
I'm so
Have you been there
excited.
Before?
I grew up there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
So my dad worked for the American Embassy for 8 years, which is why I grew up there. And I didn't come to the States until I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I came to South Carolina, so I kind of have two home bases, But I mean, definitely Spain feels like home. Obviously, it's my first, place. I learned Spanish before I learned English. I learned English when I was 5, which is why I also don't have an accent, because when you learn at such a young age. Went to American school, the military there in Spain. And then I'll never forget when I was coming here to the States, I was so excited. Oh my God, I was so excited. Now, I don't know why, but they had brochures of the Statue of Liberty, and she was white. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
So I get to New York City, my first stop from coming from Spain, and the Statue of Liberty is green. And I was like, what is going on, Mommy? Why is she so dirty? Literally, I couldn't understand why is the Statue of Liberty green and in the brochure she's white. I still don't understand why they had a Statue of Liberty white. But anyway, so that was my first impression of America. It was that there was a dirty Statue of Liberty. Oh, it was crazy.
When's the last time you've been back though?
So I've been back since then with WWE several times. I took my husband, my parents and we went. But we've been through a heck of a year. So we've decided, my sister, my cousin, and I have decided to take my mom. She really wanted to go, and we're going to take some of Dad's ashes, actually, and
awesome.
We're going to spread them there, which is going to be very special.
That's great.
Because working through the American Embassy there was very, very dear to him, and so we thought that would be very fitting.
That's interesting. That's awesome. That's really cool. When I went to Spain, I went to Spain a few years ago, and I was all excited about it. It was part of a cruise where we were going to different places, and Spain was one of the stops. And I remember when I got there, I called my grandpa, and I was like, "Oh, it's really cool." And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're Spanish, right?" And I was like, "No, you've never mentioned this my entire life." I was like, "You're Puerto Rican, I thought." And he was like, "Well, yeah, but my dad grew up in Spain. My mom is Puerto Rican. You have Spanish blood." I was like, "What? You've never told me that in my life. I didn't know that I was going there when I got here." So I love Spain. When I was there, I had the best time. I love it.
Yeah, that's everybody was really much in Spain and then went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So my grandmother, same thing, grew up in Madrid. So so it's going to be exciting. But what I wanted to do is I didn't want to leave you guys without a show. So it was crazy. I took advantage of WWE inviting me, and I got, here we go, boom, 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 the next 2 weeks. First, next week, we will have the one and the only, the boss, Sasha Banks.
Yeah! Oh, I'm so excited about that. That's awesome.
Wait till you hear what she shared with me. And she also broke news.
Oh.
Yeah, it was funny. I kind of mentioned something, and she was like, oh, no, we don't talk about that. Oh, okay, all right, I'm just going to let it happen. And it was great.
Oh, awesome.
It was great. So we have breaking news. We were actually backstage at Staples Center for that one, and they did not allow cameras.
Okay.
So it is just an audio only.
Okay.
But you guys know what she looks like. So.
Yeah. We've all seen what she looks like.
And if you're listening to us on iTunes, it doesn't even matter anymore, whatever. But anyway, so that will be next on Monday. And then the Monday after that,
I'm ready.
The last kicker, Becky Lynch.
That's so cool.
I know, right?
Oh, man. So you got Bailey, Sasha, and Becky on the show now? Oh, that's so
now
cool.
I just got to get Charlotte on there. But very, very exciting. I mean, and then I know that the day that I come back on the 26th and the 27th, we're going to go ahead and do like our pre-show.
Yep.
Yeah, with Christy and yourself and the three of us. We're going to do a pre-show. Let's see if we can get maybe somebody else to come in for that. And
we'll work on it.
Yeah, and have a little powwow.
Pull out my Rolodex. See what I can help out with.
Let's see what we can do and have a pre-show for Mania. Yeah, so we got a lot of exciting things, like I said. So let's go ahead, because we have so much news.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. All right, so let's go ahead. Right after this, we're going to be bringing Christy Olsen in with all the wrestling news.
What's up, party people? Roxy Stryer here from The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro. We're your twice-weekly broadcast of one man's midlife crisis and the mad millennials in Star Trek uniforms that follow him.
And I'm one of those millennials, Lauren LaGrasso here. We've had some amazing guests like Russell Simmons, Ileana Douglas, and Craig Gass. Coolio, right?
Christian Blatt in the house to tell you to go to thetomorrowshow.com to check us out. We're live every Monday and Thursday from 10 to midnight Eastern. That's thetomorrowshow.com. Be there or be square, whatever that means.
Welcome back. It's now time for your Making Their Way to the Ring news. We've been reporting on all this year's WWE Hall of Fame inductees, and we finally know who our female Hall of Famer is going to be. Yay, the Glamazon Beth Phoenix will be inducted in Orlando on March 31st. She says she wasn't expecting to get this opportunity so early, as she just retired in 2012, but she's known about this since January when Mark Carrano gave her a call. That's right. And she says the first thing she did was walk to the next room and tell her husband Edge, who himself was inducted in 2012, this will make them the only two spouses ever to be WWE Hall of Famers. So congratulations to
cool.
Beth. Yes,
That
and
is so
breaking
cool.
just in the last about 12 minutes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. Rick Rude is also going to be inducted this year. The co-founder of D-Generation X will be inducted by Ricky Steamboat.
Wow.
Very appropriate. So congratulations to him and to Beth Phoenix.
Congratulations.
And we also kind of know already who's going to induct Beth Phoenix as well. It hasn't been fully announced.
Let me think.
Not confirmed.
Well,
can you guess, Lilian?
You want to guess?
No.
Well, it was actually Maria Menounos who broke the story on this one. Kelly was on Maria's show, I think 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
Okay.
And without saying who it was, because they didn't want to spoil who was going into the Hall of Fame, Maria said that she had been working with Beth for the past few months to figure out what her style was going to be for the event. She just said with the female who's going in this year. And so she said she worked with her to get her style down. And Kelly said that that's why she's going to be at the Hall of Fame, is to they didn't say Beth Phoenix by name at the time because it hadn't been announced, but they said that she's going to be there to induct the person that's going in.
Close to being confirmed as possible, but not confirmed.
Correct.
Wait, okay, I'm so confused.
Kelly.
So Kelly, it looks like she's going to induct Beth Phoenix.
Yes.
But we don't know that for sure.
Well, it's only because when this interview took place, it was before they announced Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
And so she was like, are you going to be at the Hall of Fame? And she was like, yeah, I'm going to be there to induct someone. And she was like,
oh.
And she was like, but I can't really say who it is yet. And Maria was like, well, I already know because I'm doing her style. And like they all like kind of like got all giddy about it. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Maria's got the scoop.
I love it. So congratulations, both of them. I love Beth. I mean, I had so much fun working with her. And the thing about Beth is that she cared so much about every single match and working with her opponent. That was the thing with her, is that she really would talk to them and really strategize how to put the best match together. And when she got hurt, I remember she got hurt not long after debuting. Am I right? I think I'm right.
It sounds
I'm almost right. I know. I'm trying to remember.
I trust you more than me on this one.
She really got hurt one time, and she was so upset because she well, she loves this business and wanted to be in it so much, and then all of a sudden she's sidelined. But when she came back, and I always say that so many times when somebody gets hurt, they have an opportunity to come back even bigger and better. And most of the time, that's what happens. So, anyway,
are you surprised though? I mean, you worked with her.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that she went in so soon after retiring? I mean, she's gone in for a lot of women that were there.
Yeah.
In, the 80s, 90s.
Every year, people can give their opinions and speculate as to who they thought it should be or who it's going to be. And there's always going to be that.
Well, I didn't say speculate. So I'm more just wondering if you were surprised that she went in so quick.
No, you know what? When I saw the whole package of her, when they revealed all that, I was like, man, she really did do a lot. And she's like the superstars now, like the Charlotte and all of that. Like, she was just tough. And I don't think it's surprising at all for me.
No, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Well, Lilian.
Yes?
I do have a surprise for you.
Oh, boy. Dun, dun, dun.
Your friend Lita returned to in-ring action this weekend. Yes, at an independent show in Joppa, Maryland.
Wow.
She was only advertised to do an autograph signing, and then it was announced that she would be competing in an 8-person tag team match, which led fans to wonder, would she really be getting in on the action? She did. She wrestled and took some bumps and performed her signature snap DDT and a twist of fate.
Wow.
Yes, fans watched Lita perform a twist of fate just this weekend, 2017, after she retired at Survivor Series in 2006. So this is big news.
Big freaking news. And I'm so excited. We've actually been back and forth. She wants to do the show. So excited that she's going to do the show. We've been trying to figure out exactly like time-wise, and because I'm going to Spain and I had Sasha and Becky and all of them that are coming up and AJ, we've decided that Lita is going to be on the show in April. So we will let you know exactly when, but I can't wait to speak to her further about this, and I think it's awesome. She still has it. She still got it.
And you'll be able to find out if she's going to continue maybe wrestling again. I mean,
who knows what she does from here to Mania?
Because you if you had done it before, you might not have been able to ask that kind of question.
I know. It's crazy how timing is. So, and actually, I was going to tape the interview like a few weeks ago and then air it, later, and then I got bronchitis. So I'm on the
good thing you did.
So anyways, but I'm glad it all worked out because now, I can do it in April. It'll be nice and fresh, and we'll get the scoop.
And you're feeling better, which we're all glad to hear.
Yeah. Still lingering a little, but get out of me. All right.
Lita's not the only one, you guys, who had a busy weekend. Miss Dana Brooke competed in the Arnold Classic on Friday in Columbus, Ohio. She's from Ohio. And this is not her first time competing, but this does make her the first WWE superstar ever to compete in the Arnold Classic. She was in the fitness category and did this great routine, kind of a dance pose is what my amateur eye would call all of this. A lot of fun. She performed with one of those stuffed stiletto heels, which she used to flip around and on top of, kind of an old school thing that she did. It was awesome. She placed 14th in the fitness category, and I'm sure is very, very, very proud of herself because, listen, she's not got the time like the rest of these ladies to devote to this. She's a WWE superstar and a competitor. So congratulations to Dana Brooke, and you can take a look here at her routine.
I love that she did this. I really do. I think that you guys, Mark, I just want to make sure you did roll the tape already, right? We did get to see Dana?
Yeah, everybody got a chance to see it.
Awesome. Well, he's in the booth, by the way. He's our little voice from above that comes. But yeah, I love that she did this because it obviously is something that she's still passionate about, and I love that WWE allowed her to do this. I think it's great when you get to expand and do some other things outside of wrestling. And I thought, come on, I know she placed 14th, but it doesn't matter. She still went out there. She still did it, and that's the most important thing.
I never could have done any of those things. She was.
I'd like to see you jack.
I was so impressed while watching that. I would have never guessed that she would have gotten last place. But I did watch the girl who got in first place just because I was wondering.
Yeah.
And it was so impressive. She had this like giant hula hoop thing, and she was like throwing it across the stage so that it would be spinning around, and then she would like flip into it and like be spinning around in the hula hoop and then flip out of it. It was super cool. So she had some tough competition. I also think it was cool that she got to hang out with Arnold, Dana Brooke. She posted a picture of the two of them hanging out, and she got to pick his brain a little bit, and that he was inspired by her doing both, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's great that she did it.
Yes.
So congrats, Dana.
Congrats to her. And, well, she had a great Friday, maybe not such a great Sunday at WWE Fastlane, where Dana came out with Charlotte Flair, as she usually does, and Charlotte immediately sent her packing. Said, get off my stage. You will never guess what happened after that, everyone. Charlotte's 16 pay-per-view winning streak is over. Done. Demolished by Miss Bayley last night at Fastlane. Charlotte was fired up. She was trash talking the whole time. She clearly thought that she was going to make this her 17th win, but Bayley pulled it out with a little bit of help from Sasha Banks, to be honest with you. It ended with a Bayley to belly, and then Bayley pinned Charlotte to her dismay. She was shocked. Everyone else is, but she will remain the superstar with the longest pay-per-view winning streak. She's not the only one who got defeated last night either. Braun Strowman also suffered his first defeat ever in WWE against Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens lost the Universal title. Goldberg will be taking it to WrestleMania.
20 seconds. How did he lose in 20 seconds?
22, to be fair.
Okay, 22 seconds.
And at least he spanned it out and did the whole walk around the ring multiple times to try and make it look like it was longer. At least,
it was very entertaining in that regard.
Wow, what a pay-per-view.
Yeah, look, I get where they made all those decisions creatively, but as a fan watching it, it was tough. You know, I mean, to see all those things happen at once, and you know, Chrissy didn't mention the person who beat Braun Strowman was Roman Reigns, which everyone loves booing on Roman. You know,
well, I think maybe that's another reason to. You know what though? It kind of makes Braun even a bigger baby face. Think about it. All right, so maybe it leads to something from here.
I like your positivity.
Hey, I will say though, isn't it ironic the number of pay-per-views that Charlotte won? 16. Does that number? There you go.
That's why they did that. That's actually
think
a good
about
point.
it. Ric Flair, 16-time or WWE, or I should say world champion, whatever, all those titles put together. So so I think maybe it has to do with something like that.
I think you might be onto something there, Lilian. That's pretty good. I didn't think about that in the slightest. That was pretty
sometimes
good.
the blonde doesn't seep in that heavy in there.
But man, I will say, as much as I'm bummed about Kevin Owens losing the title in 20 seconds,
22,
it is cool to see Goldberg as champion again. I mean, I saw a stat on ESPN this morning where it said that he's the longest. It's the longest amount of time in between world title reigns that anyone's ever had. It was like over 5,000 days or something like that.
14 years.
14 years. I can't believe it was 14 years. 14 years ago, I remember after an after show, it was Goldberg and Stone Cold Steve Austin and myself, and we were all drinking beer in the ring, like I usually did with the badass Stone Cold.
Wills.
It was so fun. It was so fun. But yeah, I remember that, and I'm thinking, God, that was what, 14 years ago? Where's time gone by? But anyway, so congratulations to Goldberg.
I couldn't even drink 14 years ago. So
now this is going to be like, shut up. Shut up. So this is actually going to be interesting because Goldberg's now going to go into WrestleMania as champ, and now it's going to be a championship match, right, with Brock Lesnar?
That's what I would imagine. Yes. I mean, it has to be at this point. They already announced that match, so yeah.
Wow.
WrestleMania, that's going to be interesting. You know, I know that I feel like because we've all wanted an actual match at a Goldberg, and we've only gotten these 20-second things, I'm hoping that at WrestleMania we at least finally get a full match at Goldberg. I think that's what the point of all these 20-second things have been, to where when Brock takes him to the limit, it's going to be this impressive thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what I feel.
I can't wait. Yes, so Bill Goldberg is in the driver's seat on the road to WrestleMania. But what about pro wrestling's hottest free agents? Well, Matt and Jeff Hardy became just that when they left TNA, now called Impact Wrestling. They have confirmed that and tweeted it. Rebby gave an interview, his wife, when she cited some contract negotiations breaking down as the reason for them leaving. However, there's some controversy over where they're going next. And I read a report on Pro Wrestling Sheet this morning. Maybe if the editor-in-chief could weigh in.
Maybe. If we could just get him in here.
Get that guy on the phone. Ryan Satin, where do you say the Hardy Boys are going next?
All right. Well, what I can say is that they are deep in talks with WWE at this point. Now, I know over the weekend, yes, there's exciting news, but you know, I know that they're trying to swerve people a little bit here because over the weekend they appeared in Ring of Honor and they won the Ring of Honor tag titles, and they said that we've signed a deal. They in broken Matt Hardy speak, said they had signed a deal with Ring of Honor and that they'd be wrestling at the next couple shows. But the shows that they announced were all the shows that are before WrestleMania and after WrestleMania. They didn't say anything that takes place after WrestleMania. So what I'm told is that it is a short-term thing, that they had already been planning to work with Ring of Honor leading up to WrestleMania weekend because they had that, I believe it's the Super Card of Honor show that they're working on. So I wouldn't take that whole signing thing too seriously because what I'm told, the talks with WWE are deep. They're very much in deep talks.
I'm sitting here praying because that would be amazing.
I do wonder though.
So great.
You know, we were talking before, Lilian, and last week on my site, I mean, we broke a ton of stories on things going on with Impact Wrestling because there's all these changes going on. Yeah, like they got Drew Galloway and the Hardy Boys gone, Maria and Mike Bennett gone, Jade's gone, and they brought in.
Did they say why?
Well, I know with the Hardy Boys, they really just felt dissed. You know, from what I'm told, it was basically like they didn't really value Matt as much as they value Jeff, which is crazy because right now, Matt is one of the hottest acts in wrestling with that Broken Matt character. Yeah. And so during negotiations, they were kind of lagging. Like, Matt had to keep calling them and saying, hey, where's the contract? Where's the contract? Where's the contract? And finally, it just kind of broke down when the lawyer for the Hardy Boys told the people for Impact Wrestling that they wanted creative control, and Impact was like, absolutely not. You're not going to get creative control in any way, shape, or form. And they were like, well, just so you know, there is interest from other companies. And TNA, the president of TNA, told them, well, go call WWE then if you think there's an offer. That's what do you want us to say? And so that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
You're regretting that.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Some of the other, like, why Drew?
Well, Drew, from what I'm told in that situation, it's another thing where they lagged on bringing the contract to him, and I believe like his contract was supposed to expire in a few days, and they finally presented him with a contract with a few days to go, and he was just like, you know what, I'm married, I got a family, I have to think about me, I'm a hot free agent right now, if you guys didn't value me, I'm just going to go see what I can do on my own if clearly I wasn't enough a priority to you guys to come forward now. And then they brought in Alberto Del Rio instead, which is crazy to me.
Wow. And became champ right off the bat.
Night one. Now, he got it in peculiar circumstances, and later in the taping, spoiler alert, he lost it. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's pretty interesting that they didn't value Broken Matt, who basically kept them relevant for the past 6 months, and then brought in Alberto Del Rio, who has kind of been pretty problematic for the past 6 months. Like, he got arrested, he fought a Ninja Turtle, he got stabbed outside of a restaurant. I mean, there's been all these crazy things surrounding him. So,
and wasn't there a particular somebody backstage?
Yes, Paige was backstage at the show.
I don't know how does that work? She works at WWE still.
I mean, you know these waters. You know how to navigate these waters more than me.
Haven't you tried to tell Paige what to do before?
But you would never. I take it in your time at WWE.
For that girl.
Well, I take it your time at WWE. You never would have gone to a TNA show backstage.
No.
Right?
It's just one of the But I mean, I don't know. Paige is Paige. You know what I mean? She's just.
But WWE's filming her movie. They're doing all these things for her. You would think that she wouldn't be. It kind of feels like a slap in the face.
She's in love, people.
Love will make you do crazy things.
She's in love. Love will make you blind.
But I do hope that we get this. I think, and this is just my opinion on this one, I feel like we're going to see the Hardy Boys back in TNA very soon.
All right.
That's my guess.
You mean WWE?
That's what I said, yeah, WWE.
No, you said back at TNA.
Oh, I'm sorry. Back in
TNA don't even exist anymore.
No, not in TNA. Sorry, back in WWE very soon, I think.
Yes.
That's my guess.
And like I said, there's been a lot of wrestling news, and there's going to be more news, between TNA and WWE. I think it's just exciting that this is all happening.
There's a lot happening right now. I mean,
it's great.
The whole TNA thing, Impact Wrestling thing in general, I mean, it's interesting to me because they also brought back, guys like Matt Morgan, Chris Masters, Bruce Pritchard, all this stuff. So it's interesting to see what they have going on.
Right,
over there.
and Jeff Jarrett's full-time.
Oh, yeah.
Full-time now there.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And we will keep you posted on all of this breaking wrestling news as we're on the road to WrestleMania. I'm Christy Olson, the managing editor and chief correspondent of AfterBuzz TV's Pro Wrestling News Division and co-host of X-Pac 12360 right here on AfterBuzz TV. This has been your Making Their Way to the Ring news. Thank you so much, Lilian.
Thank you, Christy. It was great scoop.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. All right. Ryan, thank you so much.
Glad to be here. I can't wait to see what AJ said.
Oh my God, here we go. Because AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles. Wonder though, when we'll find out maybe tomorrow, I don't know, on SmackDown, will he be headlining WrestleMania? Will he be headlining?
I want to know.
I want to know. I hope he will. I think that would be incredible, to see him up there from last year, just 2 months in, having that WrestleMania moment, and then all of a sudden to headline WrestleMania.
Well, if he gets the spot,
first thing I'm asking him.
Well, if he gets the spot, I'm just hoping Randy Orton doesn't try to burn his house down or something like that.
All right, guys. Well, here you go. Thank you so much for the two of you for joining us, and we are now going into AJ Styles' career. Here you go. WWE superstar AJ Styles was born on a Marine Corps base in North Carolina and grew up in Gainesville, Georgia. Raised modestly in a religious family that didn't own a TV, he never watched professional wrestling as a kid. AJ began training to wrestle as a teenager simply because his friends were doing it. In 1998, his confidence and aptitude for high-flying maneuvers led to a quick debut at National Championship Wrestling. AJ was successful on the independent circuit and began working for Ring of Honor and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling in 2002. Often referred to as Mr. TNA, AJ Styles won 19 championships there and was the first wrestler ever to score the TNA Triple Crown. He continued to perform around the world and also had 2 runs with New Japan Pro Wrestling. A member of the fan favorite Bullet Club alongside Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, AJ would win the IWGP Heavyweight title twice. AJ made his long-awaited arrival in WWE at the Royal Rumble in January of 2016. He appeared at WrestleMania 2 months later and would go on to engage in a memorable feud with John Cena. Their SummerSlam 2016 bout was named Match of the Year by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. AJ still resides in Gainesville, Georgia with his wife and 4 children. It's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with AJ Styles. AJ Styles, there you have it. I mean, my gosh, this superstar has done so much in his career. What an incredible guy, too, that I got to meet before I left the WWE. I'm so excited to have him here on Making Their Way to the Ring. We're going to dive right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, with me, AJ Styles. Oh my gosh, AJ, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And for joining all of us. I mean, this is incredible to have you because you are at the top of your freaking career.
It's crazy.
Can you believe it?
No, absolutely not. I never thought I'd be in the WWE. So to be doing so well right now, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember before I left, we actually had, a brief time. I don't remember exactly how. When did you come? Did you come in exactly?
Royal Rumble was my debut. So
right.
That's late January.
Of last year.
2016.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how it is in this world. Everything just meshes together. So we actually worked together for about 6 months or so, which was awesome. I immediately gravitated like this crazy friendship with you because we just hit it off so well, and that you're such a real guy. And that's what's so incredible is that you're at the top of your game, #1 rated wrestler. Everywhere you turn around, everyone is just Rookie of the Year. Can you believe somebody said actually Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Was that funny when I read that? I went, Rookie of the Year? Okay.
38-year-old rookie. Okay.
That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
I'll take it.
Yeah. So, from that too, it's just, you've got such an incredible story too, as to who you are and with your family and your kids. But before I get there, WrestleMania's around the corner. And here you are. I know there's a little bit of controversy whether or not you're going to be headlining, but I really hope you're headlining. Talk to me about what's going on right now.
It's a crazy story right now. It just seems like that I'm jumping all kinds of through all these loops and everything else just to find my way into the main event of WrestleMania. But now we're hearing that Randy Orton wants his shot, which I thought that he gave up, at WrestleMania. So now that I beat Luke Harper, it's I have my shot. This is my chance at WrestleMania, the main event. Now Randy wants his chance. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen? I don't, but it's intriguing, and we'll find out.
Yeah, isn't it funny? A lot of people think that that everybody knows, like the superstars know exactly what's going on, everything, but really don't know. Because you
don't
know, in the business, things can change day to day, moment to moment. Sometimes you guys have been in the curtain where you think the outcome's going to be one thing, and then in the ring you get called that it's turned into something else.
Yeah, that we have no idea what's going to, like, we have an idea, hopefully, but that changes. It could be changing that day at TV or at the pay-per-view. You never know exactly what's going to happen, so you never know what to believe. And even when it comes to what we're saying, everything changes so quick, you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. I don't mind that. I like the fact that we can change in an instant, that way that we get the best out of the product that we can.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. How does that feel for you, though, knowing that you might be headlining WrestleMania?
It's awesome. I want it. I mean, but then again, being at WrestleMania is great too. So no matter what happens, as long as I have the opportunity to compete at WrestleMania, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I mean, last year, record-breaking, attendance. My first WrestleMania, so
right.
that was pretty great.
Yeah.
And now to do another big one in Orlando, and I have a couple fans down in Orlando. If you watch the Royal Rumble, you might notice.
Right.
So, I'm looking forward to it.
I remember us talking about, this was leading into WrestleMania. You still didn't know yet whether you and Jericho or you and somebody else were going to be going to WrestleMania. And I remember telling you, I was like, dude, you've made such an impact since you got here, the Royal Rumble, that you are definitely going to be in Mania. And you were like, God, I really, really hope so. And I'm thinking to myself, you have no idea, like, how good you are and how much of an impact you make.
Well, I try to stay humble and never assume anything, because we know when you break down the word assume what that means. And so
yeah,
I like I said, I never assume. And in this business, you can't. It's
true.
Like, again, things change so fast, and you never know what's going to happen. So I just don't assume that, oh, I'm that good, or, oh, I'm that, I first of all, I don't believe that I'm good or that I'm that great. I want to be one day, but
still right now you
assume.
say that. I mean, right now you still say, I want to be.
I watch matches. You know what? I try not to watch matches, because when I do watch them, I get so mad at myself, because I think they could have been better, or a promo that could have been better, that it just tears me up. So I know there's at some point that I can hopefully get there, but I'm definitely not there yet. I want to be.
It's funny, because my first instinct is to go, are you kidding me? But I get it, because it's the same thing when I watch myself back sing or something like that. I'm like, oh, I could have done that no better. Everyone else was like, you were amazing. And I'm sitting there going, wait, you didn't hear that? So I get what you're saying. Only you can tell that.
Right. And I'm still learning. And I know that, because I'm in there with guys who've been in there with the greatest. And they'll tell me something. I go, well, that doesn't make sense. And that's the more I think about it, I go, holy crap, they're completely right. I need to do this or that.
But that's great that you also have an openness about you, that even though you've had such an amazing career, been in this industry, because you could have the attitude of, are you kidding me? I was voted #1. Get off me. You could have that attitude, but the fact that you're still willing to be open to somebody else's, critique or opinions or, help, that tells you how great you are too in that respect.
Well, when you got a guy who's been in the business just as long as you have, but he's been in the ring with so many amazing performers in the WWE, and I'm talking about John Cena, you can learn a thing or three from this guy and a half. And it was such a blessing being in the ring with someone like him to learn from him, because the WWE is completely different than the independents or this place or that place or Japan. It's different.
Right.
Things are different. And I've learned that, and I've had to learn quick in being here. But luckily, I've been in the ring with some amazing performers in the WWE.
Yeah, speaking of Cena, I've actually talked about him a lot on this show, speaking about how sometimes, the crowd, of course, they're boo him or whatever, but yet the match will come on and everybody's at their feet. And it's one of those things. I mean, the two of you have such amazing chemistry. And I'll never forget when you guys first faced off and the crowd went crazy and we talked about it and you were like, I had no idea that they were going to have that that response from us.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The back and forth. And I've said this many times, we are two completely, 100% completely different performers when we get in the ring. But there's something about, if opposites attract, if that's really the true statement, then it certainly is true when it comes to John Cena and AJ Styles. We have unbelievable matches and just have the same mindset going into it. So I think that's the recipe. That's why it's so much fun for us. And so I think good for the fans.
Yeah. Kurt Angle brought it up when I interviewed him here. He mentioned that you are the type of wrestler, you do all the work.
Well, I don't know that I do all the work, but I do enjoy making the guy that I'm in the ring with look like a destroyer. I think that I get most satisfaction out of making someone else look good than making my own, self look good. I enjoy making someone else look so much better than, not than they are, but just how much more what can I do for them, to bring it up another level? How can I get guys that they boo?
Yeah.
To cheer them? How can I get them to cheer them? I want to see if I can get that out of them. I want to change how they feel about the character that we're trying to get something out of. How can we get there?
Wow.
And I get more satisfaction out of that.
No, I hear you.
I feel like I'm doing my job if I can do that.
Well, it is. It's not just a take business. And I think that sometimes that gets forgotten on some of the guys where they are trying to figure out how many moves can I make? How can I make myself look good, instead of the fact that it is a team and it is about you and it's kind of a dance. I mean, you have to have your partner.
Absolutely. And I've had some good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't have an unbelievable match without two guys in the ring. It can't be just one guy doing all the work. It doesn't work that way. I don't care what anybody says. I couldn't work a mop and have a great match with it. It takes two, and you got to find out exactly what it is that's going to make this match good. And a lot of it, comes from the story that you're telling. So when we step into the ring, we just have to do what we do best. But it was the story that got us there, and people are invested in the story before we step in the ring. So therefore, this is going to be easy.
Yeah. Well, I want to get to know, because I'm loving everything I'm hearing, and I'm also know that a lot of this comes from the way somebody is grown up, right? So let's go back to, you were born on a military base, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah. And I didn't even know that until I was, doing some research and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, you and I do have a lot in common, because I was born on a military base. So your dad was he a Marine? Is that why you were?
He was a Marine.
Okay, that's how my father started. Was in the Marines, and then he went over to the Army. So, so how many years was he a Marine for?
Well, he was there before I was born, because my older brother, who was he's 4 years older than me, and he was born in Camp Lejeune, and then I was. So he had to be in there for 4 or 5 years. Before he got out, and when he did get out, we moved back to Georgia, in which Gainesville area, Hall County, where I've been all my life. So that's despite the fact that I was born in North Carolina, I'm a Georgia boy. That's just
right.
It. But you talk about your dad in the Marines, and man, I know exactly what that's like. Sometimes it's not fun having a dad as a Marine, and they'll tell you, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Right,
and it doesn't matter if he went to the Army, because my brother also was a Marine and went to the Army, but he's for sure always a Marine.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't take that away.
I think that it kind of helped that Dad had two girls. I think it's probably different with the guys.
Oh, I bet you it is. And I'll
we
tell you
want
why
them
I know
over.
this.
Well, because of your little girl.
Exactly,
right?
because I am totally different with her than I am with my 3 boys. Like those boys, I'll get on them. Now, you know,
Yeah.
It's like this happened this morning actually. She was acting up. My daughter was, and I said, well, "Your mom's going to spank you." Her mom, not me.
Yeah. You can't do it. I know that's
can't.
That's what it is. My mom was always the one that was the disciplinary. I was like, wait a minute, who went to the Army? Who went to the Marines? Who went what? Yeah, but so all right. So how was that for you growing up with a father like that? Because I know that it's also been reported that he was an alcoholic, abusive. So can you tell us a little bit about how that was for you?
And there were some things when, you know, he was growing up. He didn't have the best life either. That his dad was a little abusive, or maybe didn't show him enough attention, and why his mom was the sweetest mom trying to protect him and stuff like my grandfather didn't really turn his life around until he was in his late 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. So my dad had a rough life, and therefore when he went to the Marines, he was very rebellious.
Yeah.
And got in a lot of trouble. He would rank up, and then they demote him because he would do something stupid. Like that seemed like his MO. That's what he'd done. It's telling me stories how he would get in fight with MPs and whatnot. So he had a hard life, and I believe that there was no one really to show him how to be a man.
Right.
And therefore, he didn't act like a man half the time. I thought that there was a lot of times where he was very selfish, and I don't think he took care of his wife or his family the way he should have. Just little things like that. And when you know, it's not like you hate the world. You hate yourself. And when you hate yourself, you'll find ways to forget about it. So you go and you drink alcohol, which my father was an alcoholic. You know, he had demons just like everybody else does. He just didn't know how to deal with them. And so he turned to alcohol, and, you know, it was what it was. When my dad wasn't drinking, I loved being around him. He never missed a game of mine, which was very important to me. Mm-hmm. Very proud of me. I know he loved me, but alcohol took its toll. I mean, it did some bad things to our family. And it's sad, but, you know, there were some times where we took some beatings. Yeah. I mean, it's just that's the way it was in our house. And 3 boys who acted up, and I know how it is. Sometimes when anger and alcohol get together, it's not a good mix when it comes to disciplining your children. Right. So I understand that now as an adult, and I don't love my dad any less because he had an issue. I love my dad. He's gone now, but I love my dad. So, and, you know, despite what everybody thinks about an alcoholic father, yeah, you know, I put that aside and see the good in my dad too, because, you know, I learned from my parents' mistakes, and that was one of them. Well, you know,
how were you able to, first of all, how did that affect you as a kid though? Because I had Brian Kendrick on the show, and he was talking about how he had an abusive father, and it led him to have so much anger inside. And it wasn't, he said, until just recently he mentioned that he finally was able to handle that. He went through anger management and all. How were you able to handle it?
Well, I mean, I loved my brothers. You know, I looked up to my oldest brother a lot, and I just found myself, all I did was play sports growing up. That's all I did. So I had things like that going on, and my dad showed me love because he was always there. He never missed a game. He was always there, and that was very important to me. Yeah. So, like, it's not like there was never a moment where I hated my dad. Now, there were some things that happened where this all ended, like when my dad would, you know, come home, looking for a fight. One night, I was probably about 12, maybe 13. He came home looking for a fight, and me and my brothers were like, "Oh crap!" And so we were just sit down and be quiet and do whatever he asks you. And my brother was 17 at the time, I do believe, and my mom said, "I'm not taking this. I'm going to go stay with a friend." And so, because he was really rough on mom usually took up for, you know, if dad started getting on one of us, she would take up, and of course she would take the beating too. Mm-hmm. So, but she's like, "I'm not taking this," and she left. And then she's like, came back. I said, here's your lunch money for tomorrow. My mom literally did everything. And she was going to leave. And my dad went out and threw her against the trailer, knocked her out. My brother, little did my dad know, my brother got in fights all the time. And he was kind of a bad dude.
Okay.
So he's 17-year-old in high school.
Yeah.
And peeks out the door to see what's going on because he heard the bang against the trailer. And my dad, I think he picked up something. I don't know what it was, but my brother, my oldest brother, just reacted, pop, pop, and knocks my dad out. We're like, oh my God.
Oh, wow.
The scariest man alive just got knocked out by my brother. Oh no. We're like, dude, get out of here. Get out of here. And he's like, nope. Ended up, finally knocking my dad out a couple more times. And there was never a point where my dad, hit us or anything like that again. Like that never happened again. But so it was as bad as it seems. And because as much as I love my brother and my dad and stuff like that, it was a terrible moment. But at the same time, I was like, holy crap. We were just playing with my brother, just being my dad. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened,
Yeah.
I know that sounds terrible, but it was just like a crazy moment. But things work themselves out in a different way.
How did he finally get help?
No. My mom and dad ended up getting a divorce later on, which that affected me. As weird as that was, like that.
Ooh, tell me.
It seems like. Once things started working themselves out, like, okay, it's getting better. My dad's not drinking as much. In fact, the only thing he really done at that time was smoke pot. Mm-hmm. So, which is a lot safer to me than drinking.
Right. Well, because it mellows you out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, they ended up getting a divorce, and it was a rough divorce, and I was kind of mad at my mom the way that all went down because I didn't make any sense. Like, it would have made sense if you would have divorced him years ago. Mm-hmm. But now that everything's working out, so that kind of hit me rough because I was a sophomore in high school, but it kind of hit me hard because I was always proud of the fact that my parents were still together. And when that happened, I kind of went and stayed with my brother and then stayed with my dad, so I really didn't have anything to do with my mom. It just really affected me. I can't tell you exactly why, other than the fact that I just wanted them to be together, Right.
Did you guys get to talk about it since then? Like, did she get to explain to you why? Does it? No,
we just, I don't know. It's not a conversation we've had, and
do you wish to have that?
We probably should have it. Because there's still some weird things going in my head when it comes to my mom. But hopefully one day we'll cross that bridge and we'll get it taken care of. I don't hate my mom. I love my mom.
Yeah.
It's just, there's some issues with that I think any high schooler who at least loved both their parents would go through.
Right. Do you think you're prepared to actually hear her side, though, and really understand her side?
Yeah, I think so. And I do understand that my dad probably wasn't the easiest man to live with. So there are some things that I understand and that she took care of us 90% of the time. But we just haven't went there yet.
Yeah.
I never was excited to see any of her boyfriends when she had them.
Well, that's hard no matter what, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, it was to the point where I'd see a guy and I'd just give him the stare of, I don't like you, I don't know you, I don't like you kind of thing. So
yeah,
we've gotten past that. She's married now, so we're past that.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to encourage you sometime to definitely have that conversation because I think you might, this has happened. You make it bigger than it is. Mm-hmm. And then you finally have it and you go, oh, why didn't we do this forever ago? Right? And just get it out and just over with and have that understanding. And probably it's when you do that all of a sudden your relationship will get even closer.
Sure.
So I'll hope for that for sure. But so all right, so now you're growing up in the trailer world too. Like you lived in a trailer. Tell me about how that was for you. And for you, I'm sure at that time it was normal.
Well, I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't as horrible as I guess what other people saw it as, and it was kind of like if somebody says, "Well, I grew up in the ghetto," well, the trailer park's basically the ghetto. It really is. It's just trailers. That's the difference. And so, like, I got in fights all the time. I didn't have nice clothes. I didn't have nice stuff, but I did appreciate the nice stuff that I did get. You know, the cool toys that I got a year later after every other kid, I still played with them as much, you know. So, you know, all that stuff that people talk about. The only thing I remember is like we had DFACs called on us one time. And because both my parents had jobs, they couldn't help us out. My parents had 4 kids, but they had 2 crappy jobs.
Wow.
So we can't help you out because you guys make too much money. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right, fine. You know, that's cool. Well,
wow.
I'll keep eating mayonnaise sandwiches. It's no problem.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So, you know, when it comes to the government system, that never made any sense to me because my parents paid their taxes and everything else. I know this is going political for a second.
It's okay.
But that didn't make any sense to me that they pay their taxes and stuff, that they should be getting help when they needed it, but they weren't because they had jobs. Because they pay into the system,
no,
they
that's
don't get
not
help
right.
from it.
Right, because it's you got to encourage people to work. You have to.
But I would think that if you do work, well, let's help them out a little bit. Let's find a way to give them our government cheese so they can have cheese sandwiches or something.
Yeah. Right. So, okay. And for you, school then, were you academically like into it?
I wasn't very interested, and I can tell it in my kids that, you know, they're not very interested in school, which when they say school sucks, I'm like, yeah, I remember that, you know. But I was only interested in sports, and there were a couple times where I had some amazing teachers that loved me, and I really believe if you love a student, they will find ways to make you proud of them, and which I did. And I'll never forget her name. I hope she watches this one day. Her name was Miss Holmes, and she loved me, and I knew it, and I wanted to do well for her, so I tried my best. And not with that, you know, sometimes I really made her mad. But I loved her, and she loved me, and so I did. In the 4th grade, I did really well. And then in the 8th grade, the same kind of thing happened where the teacher made me believe in myself. So, you know, so I did pretty good in her class. But if you don't have that teacher, if you don't have the right teachers, then, well.
Oh, I've always said how important teachers are. They really, that's the other thing I can't believe is the pay for teachers compared to everything else. I will never understand it because they really do affect the lives of the children that are going to school.
I'll be 40 this year, and I still remember the name of my 4th grade teacher.
Yeah, there you go.
That says something. And, you know, my wife was a teacher, and I know how hard it is. But I also knew how much she loved her kids.
Right.
And it made a difference. And so anytime she sees a kid that she may not remember them because they're much older now, but they remember her because she loved them. Yeah. And that's to be a good teacher, you got to love, you know, kids. You got to. It doesn't matter what kind of degree or, you know, whatever you have. Right. If you don't love kids, then they're not going to do well for you. Just bottom line.
And I've seen it too, where there are some teachers that absolutely cannot stand children and kids, and they have no patience. And I go, pick a different profession, please.
Right? Yeah, and they should.
Because it does affect. It really does affect. I mean, I had great teachers, and then 3rd grade, I had a really horrible teacher, and it affected me in a bad way as well.
Yeah.
So it's very important. So, and I know you went to, well, you started going to Anderson, South Carolina. Did you even know you were my neighbor? Like, I moved from Spain. I moved to South Carolina. I'm a Gamecock. So, oh boy. I know we played your Bulldogs.
Yeah, we were, when I went to Anderson, South Carolina, we were actually about a mile from Clemson. I don't know if a lot of people know that. That's
our enemy.
Yeah. Where, you know, Anderson's like a lot of old people. Honestly,
they're older. Yes.
So it's really
laid back.
Nothing to do.
Very laid back.
Boring. Yeah. And then literally a couple miles down the road, you have Clemson where everything's going on.
Right. So, and a lot of orange.
Yeah. I'm not I used to not be a big fan of the orange, but Deshaun Watson, who is from Gainesville, Georgia, did really well there. So there was a couple times this year where you had orange in the house.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So you were saying, so you decided though that Anderson.
It was a good experience for me.
Yeah.
I wasted a lot of money going to because I had a half scholarship for wrestling, so it's a private school. Mm-hmm. So I ended up wasting a lot of money and didn't get a degree or anything, a bachelor's, nothing. So I was like, why did I come here? I didn't enjoy school when I was in, high school. Why would I come to college? And I'm just wasting money. And I wrestled 1 year when I was there. And after that, I was like, I'm done. There's no reason for me to be here.
So how long were you there before you left?
About, I think 1.5 years.
1.5 years?
Almost 2 years, yeah.
So you went for wrestling, but then you get out and your friends are wrestling and you say, oh, I'm going to try this. So you go to wrestling school?
They weren't wrestling. They were just huge fans, and they were big jacked up guys, and they were friends from high school that I knew, and they said, yeah, we're gonna find a place to train and be pro wrestlers. I go, yeah, whatever. When you do, I'll go with you, because I didn't think they'd find a place. The only place that we knew of was in Atlanta, with WCW.
Yeah. Right.
But they found a place about 20, 25 minutes from the house. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go with you, I guess.
And you never watched, at this point, you hadn't watched wrestling on TV?
Oh, yeah.
You guys watched it.
It was so hot back then.
Yeah.
Everybody was watching it. So I enjoyed it. I always did.
Yeah, what went through your mind? I mean, you're just doing this because they're like, okay, let's do this?
Well, I mean, I thought it could be something I could do. I never, I didn't watch wrestling as much when I was growing up because we didn't have the opportunity. I always liked it. So when it got really hot and everybody's watching, well, sure, why not try it, and see if I can do it. I think I could do something like that. And literally, as soon as I took that first bump in that ring, when, you're just showing me what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, I can do this. You couldn't have told me any different. I was like,
really? So it was instant.
Yep. First bump.
Instant. And how hard was the training for you?
I loved it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, meaning the ropes hurt, the ring hurt, a lot of stuff hurt that I didn't think it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So, but I enjoyed it so much, I couldn't stop. I just couldn't get enough of it.
And so how did you end up from school, what was your first opportunity to go, oh my gosh, this is it?
Well, I'll tell you this, within a month of my training, which is just totally wrong, because I could do all these crazy flips
within a month.
In a match. Yes, it was totally wrong.
Wow. Okay.
Just really dumb. I'll be the first one to admit it. And it was probably an awful match. I don't think I've seen it since I've done it. But then after that first match, they threw me in another match, like a Rumble match. Mm-hmm. And it was soon after that, I kind of went and did my own thing.
But how did you get discovered? How quickly?
Oh, I want to say within a year, I had the opportunity to go to WCW. And I turned it down because it was $500 a week to move or to drive to Atlanta every day and train there, which sounds like a great deal, but I had bills. I was an adult.
Yeah.
And I made that at my regular job, so the insurance would have been much, or not the insurance, but the taxes would have been much more if I was an independent contractor than they've been already paid for.
Right.
At my regular job. So that's what I was thinking about at the time.
You were business.
Well, I mean, I didn't have a lot of money, so I just I assumed this. I needed to keep some money. I needed to find ways to save some money.
Yeah.
And eventually I wanted to marry my girlfriend. So there's a lot of things that came to play.
Your childhood sweethearts?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. High school. Yeah. Okay, so then when you turned WCW, then how did the opening come?
Well, it was soon. I think my daughter's crying.
Aw, I can hear them. So cute. And I definitely want to talk about your kids.
Oh man, they're probably going to come in here and my dog's over there whining, wanting out. Anyway,
it's okay. It's a typical household.
But Wildside was doing really well. This was where I started training.
Yeah.
And was doing really well. And therefore, WCW had a developmental relationship with Wildside. So they bring their guys from WCW going through the power plant, let them wrestle there, get some experience and from some small crowds. And while they were coming to check out those guys, they saw me and another guy having some great matches. Eric Paris was his name, and then it was soon after that they invited us to have a dark match in WCW in Baltimore. Flew us up to Baltimore to have a dark match. We must have done well because they offered us a contract soon after that. And
God, now where are your friends at this point? Did your friends already go, never mind, we're not in this?
They quit.
They did.
Yeah, they did. Well, I assume they had so much going on that it was hard for them to get to training and whatnot. So they just had to give it up. Where I wasn't missing out. I was going to find a way, and I was training plus wrestling on the weekends. Like the best thing about where I got trained at was the fact that I had the opportunity to also wrestle there. So, and then on another night, I got to go to Atlanta and I'd wrestle at a bar. As crazy as that sounds. Yeah. And so, but the great thing about it was I was getting experience. So I like to say that I got trained by literally everybody I ever wrestled.
What would you say in your early days was the hardest thing for you, though?
Convincing my girlfriend, who was probably my fiance at the point, that someday this is going to work out. Someday this is going to provide for us. I had to tell her this because she wanted to spend the weekend with me doing something fun. Right. But I was dragging her to wrestling events that I was doing. Yeah. It's got to be terrible for her to have to do this every weekend. But I would say that was the hardest thing because it wasn't not making the money, because everybody thinks that, you're a wrestler and you make amazing money. Not when you're an independent guy. No. I was hoping to get just a little bit of cash so I could pay for gas. Yeah. And whatnot. But other than that, I was just doing it for the experience.
Yeah, because I talk a lot about, with other wrestlers and all that, a lot of times too, by the time you pay for your hotel, for gas, maintenance, all of that, you're actually paying to wrestle.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us would drive back the same night. So there were some hard times. That may have been the hardest, was trying not to fall asleep on the drive back home. Yeah. Because if you stayed the night, then you're just wasting money unless you knew a buddy that you could spend the night with. Because we go pretty far. I mean, I remember driving up to Philadelphia. Then you try to stay in the closer states, but even after you've wrestled, maybe the show goes to 11 o'clock, then you're still going to drive home from Nashville, which is another 4 hours. It gets pretty late pretty quick. And if you've been working all day, it takes its toll on you.
Yeah. And isn't it something that you're still driving to these days? Right?
But the great thing about these days is that you may drive 3 or 4 hours, but if you're a family man like myself, you enjoy that time by yourself. And
I see, yeah.
It's not such a bad thing.
Who do you ride with these days?
Well, I used to ride with Anderson and Gallows, my buddies from Japan. But when we split, I just started riding by myself.
Seriously?
Yeah, so all by my lonesome.
So you're going all of these hours of TV, all of this, it is stressful. There's no doubt about it. You got a lot going on. You're being pulled in every different direction, whether it's media, whether it's doing a promo, and then you got to go over your match, and you're having your match, and then you're getting in the car and you're driving by yourself. But then again, like you said, are you enjoying your downtime?
I really am. And my own schedule is what I love about it the most. It's like I don't have to, hey, are you ready to go? You ready to go? Nope. I'm on my own time. And for me, I'm literally the first guy at the building. And the reason is because I like to set up my video games, because I'm a nerd. Yeah. and that's my time to just relax and just think about nothing other than what's in front of me, and just chill. That's it.
Do you and Xavier Woods go at it with video games?
We have. He likes different games than I do. I think he likes a little bit of everything. I'm very specific in what I like. Yeah. So we are different in the games that we like, but as far as getting in front of it and being big fans of pretty much anything that comes on as far as electronics. Yeah. That's us.
Which, by the way, we actually covered your story here because we heard about your entire, was it console, the game station or something being stolen.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my God.
So,
did they get to the bottom of it?
It's my fault.
Why do you say that?
In the grand scheme of things, it's my fault because I was the last match on the show, and therefore I just wanted to leave. I wanted to get to the hotel and go to bed. And I left my bag in there. I dressed in this area, but my bag where I was playing my games was in this area. And so I didn't think about it. I just left.
In the locker room you're talking about?
What was that?
In the locker room.
Yes, in the locker room. So, you know.
Oh, so it wasn't until later on in the night or the next day that you realized it? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was the next morning. I go, "Where's my bag?"
Oh, I see.
Oh my God.
Saying. Oh no.
So, I mean, it doesn't give anybody the right to take something that isn't theirs.
Obviously.
And it's sad that it's cool to do stuff like that. You know, I so many times I've thought about in this day and age, where are all the heroes? Like, I want to be a hero.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be, that guy. Mm-hmm. So I don't get somebody being any different. That drives me nuts. I don't get that kind of a person.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to be the guy. Hey, yeah, I got your bag, dude.
I've done that before, yeah, where I've actually turned in something. It feels so good. Literally the stare on somebody else's face, like, you just returned that to me? And the money, everything is still in. What? It feels great. It feels amazing, yeah. Well, did you get a new one?
I've already had one at the house.
Okay.
So I literally just packed everything up and ready to go. So it didn't affect me.
Yeah.
As far as my game playing and any whatsoever. Like, I actually carried an older console, an Xbox 360, which people go, "Why do you play an Xbox?"
Yeah.
I still enjoy games on that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
And I didn't have to be hooked up to the internet to use it.
Yes.
And so
that's true.
Now the 360 has gone away. Now I've upgraded, not really upgraded. I've taken my Xbox One on the road, which sucks to an extent because a lot of times I have to be on the internet to play and not
and the
easy to do at some of the venues. So.
Yeah. What's your favorite game?
Right now, there's a game called Sniper Elite 4, and I'm addicted to it, and it is very gruesome.
Oh my God, really?
It's a World War II kind of gameplay, and so you're a sniper, and my kids, every time I play it, at the house, they're like,
oh,
they do all
really?
that. So yeah, it's that kind of
Oh my
thing.
gosh. And so you're okay with your kids seeing that much violence?
They watch movies, and so they see that stuff all the time. And if we're talking about war, then they need to know what that's like. Like, that's not a good thing,
right?
But it is part of our history and it has happened. But maybe they shouldn't see a bullet going through somebody's skull. But you know, I'm sure they're going to see worse things than that as they get older and watch these films. I mean, there's some crazy stuff in it.
Oh, it's just so bad. Did you not get, with your dad being in the Marines, or any of your brothers, anybody pursue the whole continuing and being in the services?
My second to the eldest brother was a Marine. And
you mentioned that's right. Yeah.
And then switched to the Army.
Right.
And then went back to the reserves. So he's probably stayed in the longest, but he's now out. Again, I don't think he's going back anymore. He's been over to Afghanistan a couple times.
Oh wow!
I think, and then my youngest brother was in the Army, and he was over in Afghanistan. And so,
and you never got the calling for that inside of you.
I would think that if there were nothing for me here, that as I was growing up, maybe if Anderson College hadn't been there, or my wife, I mean, I probably would have went into the Marines. In fact, that'd be the only service that I always thought the Marines were the baddest of the baddest, and I love the way they look in the dress blues. And they're all they're so intimidating, just the way they're dressed, and when you compare them to the other branches of the military,
right?
There is no comparison. Sorry, guys. You know, I'm a Marine.
The suit is pretty badass.
I'm a Marine kid, yeah.
Yeah. Are you glad, though, that this has been your calling and your avenue?
Absolutely. I believe that I've been put in a position for a reason. I believe that the Lord's like, he's not going to be good at anything else. Let's make sure he goes this avenue right here. And it's it's given me an opportunity to talk to people that I never would have had the opportunity to talk to, and share with people that I never had the opportunity to share with, and meet kids and put smiles on their faces. And I don't care what anybody says, to me, that is the best part, was when you get to make a kid's day, when you just get to make them smile. When even adults,
yeah,
you throw your shirt out there to them, it makes it like that is right? That's the best. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, sometimes when we see the WrestleMania recap, right, and then they show the audience and all, and you see the faces, and you realize, man, it is a form of letting everybody forget all their troubles, and they're just focused on being entertained, 100% lost in
entertainment.
It. Yeah. So with oh my God, Mark, I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to cut this real quick, just because I lost my train of thought. Just because, oh my God, my head is so like stopped up. Yeah, I know. So I just wanted to look down at my notes, because there was something definitely that I wanted to talk to you about with.
Sure.
Oh, I know what it was. Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right. So you've talked some about your faith. I mean, I know that you really believe in it. Was it hard for you to be in a business like this that really, faith is not one of those things that's a really big thing around it, right?
Right. I mean, it's gotten to where it's not a really big thing in this world anymore.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's sad. I think that it's easy not to believe in something, to know that, there's not a higher power. That's an easy way to believe, is that there's not something higher than that. Oh, well, I'm just another, grain of, sand, but that's not true. I believe that everybody's important, and there's a place for everybody, and there's something for everybody here. We're all here for a reason. I just chalk up so many things to, I guess I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm not in control of everything. I'd like to think I am, but I'm not. And when you let go of that, it makes life a lot easier.
Did you always have God in your life, or did you find him later?
I always believed, even as a little bitty kid, I always talked to God, and but I don't know if his name was Jesus, in my belief. But I just always knew there was somebody else. Like I wasn't alone. And as I got older, it wasn't until high school until I actually got saved. But then it doesn't mean I turned into this like, oh, I'm super Christian. Yeah. Because that wasn't it at all. In fact, it was much worse than that.
Can you tell us that experience about how you got saved? What was going on before?
Oh, well, before I got saved, I was living with a girl. I was 16, living with a girl, and you can only imagine what happened. It's a miracle I didn't have any kids then. It was wrong, and when I got saved, there were a lot of things that popped up, and I made excuses of why it's okay to do these certain things with her, because I loved her. Which, if I loved her, then I wouldn't have done these things, because we weren't married, and I didn't. There's a lot of things I could throw out there, but anyway, I started making these excuses, and then it just why? It just dawned on me, I am not going to marry this girl. Why am I? What's going on? Wait a minute. And so I just believe it was all these questions that need to be answered, and it was when I got saved that they started needing the answers to the questions.
But did somebody reach out to you? How did that whole process work?
Oh, well, I went to a judgment house. I don't know if you're familiar with a judgment house.
No.
So usually it's around Halloween, and the church puts it on, and it's a play or an act, and a group of kids would go into the room, and we'd sit down and watch this kid wearing a blue shirt and this kid wearing a red shirt, and then they would put on their act of play or whatever, and then we moved to another room, but they'd be two different people, but you knew this guy was let's say Keith, because he was wearing the blue shirt, and you knew this guy was Sam because he was wearing the red shirt. And anyway, so they play out this act, and you would experience maybe a car wreck. Something happened, both kids get killed in a car wreck, and you would go to heaven with one, and you go to hell with the other.
Oh wow.
And so when we got back to at the end of it, they sat us all down, and they said, if anybody, wants to get saved, here's your opportunity. Because, everybody's head was bowed and eyes were closed. And if anybody wants to get saved, you can raise your hand, of course. I was like, well, I'm not saved. And while it didn't scare me, it just made me think that there was something more out there for me, although I did not want to go to hell. So I raised my hand because I'm sure that all my friends would certainly raise theirs. I was the only one.
Wow.
And so I was the only one who got saved that night, but it changed me.
Wow. And what did your friends say to you? Even, at that point.
I remember one of my best friends, and I said to him, I said, wow, I just don't feel saved. I don't really feel any different. And he's like, well, that's just Satan trying to tell you you're not. You're saved.
He was saying that.
Yeah, he said that to me.
But he didn't raise his hand. So how?
Yeah, but I guess I just didn't like he had got saved when he was a little bit younger or something like that. But I think despite what anybody thinks, that just because you get saved doesn't mean that you turn into this majestical, super religious person. You got to have someone teach you, and you got to have someone show you how to be a man of God, how to be a woman of God. There's got to be that certain someone in your life, and that's why like a youth, being part of a youth group is so important, because hopefully there's someone there, the youth pastor, that's this amazing person like I had, who showed me how to be a man. But all this didn't happen when I got saved. It was not until I started dating my now wife, who made me go to church with her, and met this youth pastor who really changed things around.
I see. Do you instill that in your children now?
I try to. I make sure that they know. My two oldest boys, they got saved. They're young, and sometimes you get. I don't know how to explain it. I'm wondering as if they get older, if they did or they didn't, will they still remember it and why they started? So it makes me wonder if when they get older, that they get saved again or whatever, right, or rededicate their life.
Yeah.
But it's as long as they know they're like I'm going to be. Hopefully they go, well, my dad believes and this is why he believes, so I'm going to be like that. And my mom believes this is why she believes, and I've seen it in her life. So, I feel like we got to teach them and show them what a Christian mom and dad are supposed to be like.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be perfect. It never is.
Right. Your kids are 11 and 10?
My oldest two are 11, 10. Then I have a 7 and a 2.
And a 2-year-old. How did the little girl, when she came into this life, because you had 3 boys, how did that change things for you, or did it?
Well, the first one, it changes everything. You just having one kid changes your perspective on life.
Yeah, I can't believe you have 4, by the way. This blows my mind.
But I just saying to my third son, I was just telling him, he said, I love you. And he goes, I love you more. I said, I bet you don't. So like it's just awesome being a dad, but to be a dad to a little girl is completely different. And to know the story and how this came about, because my wife and I, after number 3 boy, I was like, I think we're pretty much done, and my wife agreed. And the doctor said, well, you never know. You guys are still young. So what if we just put an IUD in and you guys can figure it out? I'm like, okay. Because that's better than birth control. That's better than the pill.
Right, supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
For certain people. So
obviously you have super sperm.
I guess so. Like it was like she's sneaky is what it is, I think.
Yeah.
But I was at a show and my wife called me crying and I was like, whoa, what? And she told me and I was like, just blown away.
Oh my gosh, she told you over the phone and you're at a show. How many miles away? Do you remember where you were?
I think I want to say I was in, I want to say Boston or something like that.
Oh my gosh, it's not like you could just get in the car and drive home.
No.
Wow.
And so like I'm just like my head's blowing up. I can't believe this is happening and like, oh man. And but it was like, it's almost like, what the heck, so shocked but a little mad, but then going, well, what are you going to do? You just want to enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah.
And when we went to the doctor, they had to get the IUD out, and they pulled it up on the monitor where they could see everything, and you could see it was just a little round circle, but the way the IUD was pushed on it, it would look like a beam. So usually when they pull the IUD out, there's a miscarriage within 1 or 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
And it was very emotional. And I'll tell you the coolest thing about that is that our doctor, we all prayed before he took it out. He prayed.
There you go.
And I thought that was amazing, and I was emotional, and my wife, it's just like, all I could see was a circle, but that was a baby to me. But
yeah.
But I didn't want to lose that. And there were some rough patches in there where my wife was bleeding. We thought certainly she lost the baby. And
right.
Lo and behold, all 3 of my boys were natural. My little girl decided she was not going to turn. So we had to have a C-section with our last one.
Oh, wow.
And it was so weird and scary. But I remember the doc finally pulling her out, and I was like, "Is it still a girl?" He looked, and he just kind of looked at me like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." But she was so perfect when she came out. It was just like I was holding back so many tears. Right. It was so like because I had the mask on, but I was doing a lot of that. When I saw her, it was awesome.
Oh,
so
and
amazing.
I've seen pictures of you with her, and it's just so endearing, and you can see that she just has a soft spot for you. Like you have a soft spot, obviously, for her.
Oh man.
Yeah, oof. And I mean, sometimes I realize that things like this happen. Like, think about it. You guys get the call, and you're like at first going, "What?" And then there's difficulty, and all of a sudden there's the maybe you might lose her, and oh my gosh, right? And doesn't that happen though sometimes where it makes you appreciate the baby even more? All of a sudden you get that decision right there, and you go, oh no, I really want her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it helps you actually receive her into the world and into your life and into your your chaos and all of that even more when you have adversity.
Well, yeah, and you got to understand is that my wife has 4 brothers. I had 3 brothers.
Yeah.
We just we don't have girls on this side. We're not going to have them, and so to be told it was a girl because we had to get checkups pretty often.
Yeah.
And then for them to say it's a girl, I'm like, I said, nope, there's no way. There's no way. It's no way. And that's why even when she came out, I still had to ask if it was a girl because I just couldn't believe it. And even now to this day, my wife is like, we'll be laying in bed and our daughter sleeps with us. I know it's a dumb move, but
you know what? You're the parent. You get to decide. Who cares? There's no rules to raising kids.
But she'll roll over and we'll just look at him like, can you believe we have a little girl?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What has she done now? How has she changed you? Or has she?
I don't know that she's changed me. I can't explain the difference between a boy and a girl, like the way that it's not that the love is different. It's just you use it in different ways. Like I just want to hold her, and I can't wait to. I love it when she tries on her shoes, and that's so weird for a dad to say, but I love seeing her, and she tries on everybody's shoes.
That's great.
And some things were actually very uncomfortable for me, like changing her diaper. A pee-pee diaper was okay.
Yeah.
But a poo-poo diaper was very hard for me because I had boys.
Right.
And I had to learn pretty quickly you don't wipe it one direction because it was stuff that I didn't want to know. I'd be like, just please
la 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 la.
Somebody else change her.
And she's only 2. Wait till she's, older. Here we go.
Yeah,
you're going to be learning a lot about what women go through.
Well, I can tell you this, and I've been asked this question. My boys will not be treated any different than I treat my daughter. The older I've gotten, the more I realize that there's a reason why things are weighted until you're married, and and I'm going to treat them all the same. I'm going to be just as disappointed in them as I am in her if something were to go down that way. I'll love them regardless, but I'm going to try to teach them this way because I've learned throughout, my experience, because I wasn't a virgin when I got married. My wife was, that some things really are truly worth waiting for.
Wow. That's really special too.
And I will say this, that even though I did have sex before I was married, I didn't with my wife. So I waited another 4.5 years for her.
There you go.
So I did kind of wait for her, but I wish that she could have got the whole wait.
Yeah. I think it's so special and people don't realize and nowadays, oh my gosh, you look at movies. I mean, people meet out at a bar and next thing you know, they're in bed. And I'm like, this is blowing my mind, right? It's just so...
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so like it's nothing, like it's just a kiss. And it's so much more than that, for sure.
Well, we've made it cool to especially be the guy that has sex with a girl. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what's cool to a dad? It's for the kid to wait.
Right.
That's cool to a dad, especially like me. Like the whole Tim Tebow and stuff like that. I'm like, I want my daughter to marry a guy like that. That's what But it's easier said than done, and people make mistakes.
Yeah.
I understand that. But man, if you can wait, wow.
Yeah. Now, going back to you, because of you being a father and you went through so much with your dad, I want to know something because I think it's important. A lot of times, and you even said this, your father went through a lot. So it kind of made him who he was because he just kind of continued the family tree, right? You broke that somehow. How did you, do you remember, like, you weren't into alcohol or anything, right?
I mean, as a teenager, I certainly experienced stuff like that, but it wasn't my cup of tea. I don't enjoy the taste of alcohol. I don't know how anybody does. I always feel like you can follow in their footsteps, your parents, or you can learn from their mistakes. And I chose just to learn from their mistakes. And not all parents are bad. So if you follow in some parents' footsteps, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But I learned from mine. And I think my wife had a lot to do with, making sure I didn't do too many stupid things as I got older, spending wise and getting stuff we couldn't afford and getting credit cards we didn't need, stuff like that. She definitely was a smarter one when it came to that. So financially, we didn't have a lot, my wife and I, but we found a way to make it work.
Yeah, it's beautiful though, because I mean, think about how your children are growing up compared to, what you went through. Also,
and they both have their positives though, because even though it was a little bit harder for me growing up, I appreciate what I have now.
Yeah.
But the problem is I want to give them everything that I didn't, and I find myself spoiling them.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, and so now I have to really go and draw it back and go, when's your birthday? I'm not paying for that. You can go feed the dog and you can earn money that way, but I'm not getting you that.
Yeah.
So, but I've had to bring back the reins a little bit and go, oh crap, I'm spoiling them. I'm making them terrible kids, and not appreciating stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're doing a great job, and congratulations on your kids for sure. I got to take you back to, I mean, I know you spent 11 years at TNA, and what an incredible career. Oh my God, I mean, from the slams to you've got every, I think, championship there is to have, right? What was your life like in TNA? I mean, and did you look at WWE at all? I mean, I know you actually had a developmental deal, right, in 2002.
Yeah, I had a developmental deal to move to Cincinnati, but at that time I was married, and I didn't think it was right to move to Cincinnati, even though my wife said go. It wasn't right to leave her, have her move back in with her mother. My job is to take care of her. And so I turned down respectfully the developmental deal with WWE. And then within like a couple of months, TNA started up, which I thought was just another independent thing that was probably happening. So it wasn't a big deal to me, but within the 6 months, and so I was like, okay, this might be something. And as it grew on, I grew to love that place because I felt like it was something that I and other guys were building.
Yeah.
We were the foundation. We were going to build this into something great. And at some point in time, at one point in time, that it was great. It was a great place to be. We were having a lot of fun. We were changing the way people looked at wrestling,
Yeah.
And when you want to become a lesser version of something else, and when I say that, I mean WWE light, you're not giving people an alternative. If they want to watch WWE, they're going to watch WWE. You got to be something different. So when you went to the square, they went to the regular squared ring. I thought that was a big mistake. And then when you brought in guys that people, I don't know if they really wanted to see anymore because they had grown so used to a certain style of wrestling that was happening at TNA. I think there was just a number of things that brung it down, and it was guys like Christian and Kurt, though, who came over before all this, happened, that really sparked TNA, made it something, bigger. It was growing because of them. But it was, within about 2009, 2010, around there, I think they forgot who they were and didn't rely on the guys that got them to the ball game in the first place and to the, to the big game anyway. And therefore it started going downhill. And, despite all that, I just saw myself as this was my home. I was loyal to TNA, but when you won't allow me to take care of my family the way I think that I should be able to after all the time and all the years I put in, well then it's not making much sense to me, and so ultimately that's why I left, because they wanted me to take less than what I was making when I haven't done anything wrong, and that I tried to be the best ambassador for the company that I could. A lot of things I thought I did right, but they didn't see it that way, and so I left. I bet on myself and left.
And wow, and what a great bet you made. How did the transition into WWE happen?
Well, first I go to Japan, which was a big step. I mean,
huge.
To say, okay, I'm going to go and try to do this on my own, was a lot of prayer that went in, because I was very nervous, because there's a guaranteed paycheck here, but you don't know what you're getting here.
Right.
And if you get hurt, well, you're losing a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I went to Ring of Honor. That's basically how I told TNA that I wasn't working with you anymore, and showed up at the Ring of Honor show and let them, and I had a great match.
Right.
They knew that was
Surprise.
on the fence. They knew that. I think it's not like I surprised them with it, but I think they may have been a little shocked that I made ultimately I don't know if I'm going to sign the, and you know what, I'm going to tell them I'm working for Ring of Honor. That was kind of the way it happened. and then within a couple months I was back. I went to New Japan, and just I don't know, I felt like I was reborn with some crazy stuff. It was just, met Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows and a bunch of other great guys there.
Bullet Club.
Yes. And I think we changed New Japan for the good, in a certain way. And not saying that was me. I think it was all of us that had a lot to do with it. It was just the timing, and people could tell that the guys in that group were just out there having fun.
Yeah.
Like we were too. We just said, we're just having fun, do what we want. And then there, wasn't long after that, TNA came back to me and said, okay, we'll give you pretty much what you're asking for.
Yeah.
You'll come back. And I said, well, I'm not coming back without somebody. I need Anderson and Gallows. I said, I want them to come with me. And we actually had a meeting over at Dixie Carter's house. There were still some things we weren't sure about, and I had talked to WWE a little bit, but they hadn't got back to me, so I just assumed they had other things going on. They didn't need AJ Styles, which is, WWE's a big place. I get it. I'm not the most important thing in the world. I know that. But luckily, Triple H him and I had a great conversation, like a 30-minute conversation the first time we talked, and I go, oh, this is going well. And within like a week, the ball really started rolling. And finally, the rumors got out, and we told TNA that we weren't coming there, and
that was it.
Japan, we had to tell New Japan, and they almost thought we were bluffing. So they talked to someone, and they talked to the internet, and that's how it blew up from the internet.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So when you spoke to WWE, though, did you say, I would love to come over, but my guys have got to come over too?
Well, I said, this is kind of funny, is that I said, hey, listen, well, I've got these two other guys, and Gallows and Anderson, that we were going to go as a group over here, and they were like, well, we're just interested in you right now. I'm like, okay. And within that same week, they go, no, we want all of you.
Ah, there you go.
And so it was like, yes, because I didn't want to pull them away and then like get their hopes up and then, well, sorry guys, just me,
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that they got to come with me. And
yeah, but that says a lot about you too. The fact that you could have been like, wow, guys, I got called by WWE. See ya. But it shows what a caring and giving person you are, that you're like, this is awesome, and let me see if I can bring somebody else with me.
Well, I just feel like there was a hot group of guys right there, and I wish I could have brought all of them, but they're very loyal, as they should be, to the people that got them to where they're at today. And Gallows and Anderson were ready to come back home. They spent a lot of time in Japan, Anderson, in fact, I think 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a
and
lot.
Gallows was over there. When they'd go over for tours, they'd be gone for a whole summer.
Yeah. Wow.
So you miss time with your kids, and both those guys had kids. So it was hard on them.
Yeah.
So anyway, just coming back to the States was such a blessing, and to come back to WWE and them not sure how this thing was going to work out. It's unbelievable.
It is so
where we're at right now.
It is so crazy, so awesome. You guys definitely deserve it. The crowds love you too. And it is obvious that you guys go out there and you're performing to have fun. And that's what I always told people too. Sometimes when they get, I want to do, I was like, just have fun. That's the secret to everything.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Have passion, obviously. Know what you're doing, put the work in. But ultimately, you're in entertainment. You need to go out there and not only, Kendrick was talking about that he now at this stage and age, it really kind of does the whole thing for himself. Like, he's like, I want to go out and have fun. Not necessarily am I going to worry about, am I entertaining you, and you. But he says, and then all of a sudden, I end up entertaining everybody because they're buying into my passion and what I love to do.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
If you see me eating gorilla, you'll see me kind of smiling, jumping around, trying to get warmed up because I'm excited about what's about to happen because I know it's good.
Yeah.
And that's fun to me. And I'm having fun. So I know that they're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Were you okay with the split that you guys split up in the two different, Raw, SmackDown?
I was a little surprised. I will say that. I didn't expect it. And it was, I was like, what? You guys went where? I thought you were going to SmackDown. Oh my God. And so just being with those guys for so long to have them, I don't know. It was a weird moment. And it was, I think they called that live. It was live when they did it. And I was like, oh man, I was really surprised. You could see it on my face.
It's funny. It didn't surprise me at all. I don't know why. I felt like you guys, you've done so much. I think it was a really smart decision on WWE to do that. They've really been able to branch out and do their own thing as well. And you've had your own, SmackDown has been amazing for you.
Yeah, it has.
And these guys with they're winning the tag team titles and all. I think that's, it's been good for them.
Yeah, and it all worked out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. And for me, I just, I was exactly, and so were they, we were exactly where we were supposed to be.
Right.
And time will tell if we'll get back together. If we don't,
well, that's the thing is that when you get separated like that, all of a sudden, if you do get back together, it means something again.
Oh, well, and the thing is too, is that it's not just me that's been separated from the friends that they maybe have grown up with or been in the business with a long time. It's half the roster. Yeah. So when WrestleMania or the 4 shows a year, when we finally come together, it's amazing. Like everybody's like, oh my God, I feel like I haven't seen you forever. It's such a great time. And so it's so much fun. WrestleMania this year is going to be amazing just because we literally haven't seen each other
Since the Rumble.
For the past 3, yeah.
Right, yeah. And the thing is that the Rumble, too, is so crazy because, I mean, it's one day, right, that you're catching up, but it's the Rumble. It's so busy and so much going on that it's like, oh, it's great to see you. I gotta go.
Yeah, but you know, the great thing about, now you're getting me excited. The great thing about WrestleMania is we have the whole week.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. You get the whole week. Now you're really catching up, and it just makes it a really fun event. Yes,
and that's why, I know everybody's excited for WrestleMania. You know, that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about WrestleMania. Is because I get to see and spend time with all the guys that I haven't been able to on Raw. You know, I get to see these guys. It's going to be fun.
I'm in the same boat because I get to go to Mania, and I'm very excited to hang out with all of you guys, especially because I'm not on the road anymore, and I miss you guys so much. So, yeah, it's just, it becomes a family reunion because this is definitely... one thing with me being in WWE for so long, I mean, it's definitely become a family. For you, you know, we talked about this before. I asked you, I remember, I think I was in the ring for rehearsal or something. And I looked at you and I said, dude, why did you wait so long to come to WWE? And were you scared, or did you think it was going to be, hey, what did you think finally when you got here to WWE? Did you go, whoa, what? This is so different than what I thought it was going to be.
Oh, 100%. You know how many stories have been told about WWE and guys that have worked there before. And it's so hard. You're walking on eggshells. And I was like, this isn't it all the way they explained it to me. Like, I don't understand why everybody isn't here. Like, this is the place to be. This is, you know, and I joked around about catering. Like, this is great catering, you know, because I didn't really have that.
Great food. Amazing food, yes.
Yeah, so it's like the little things that you may have not, like for guys who've never been anywhere else, like, man, you just don't know how good you got it. And to hear all the change that's happening, and while Vince McMahon is, you know, the man in charge, and I used to think he was very, very intimidating. Now I just like, hey, good to see you, man. You know, like,
he's easy to talk to.
And in fact, he wants that. He wants that relationship. And I feel bad about bugging him to talk to him because he's so busy with everybody else, you know. But he's told me, like, I don't hesitate. Come in here, talk to me. If you need me, let's talk, you know. But there's also guys there that I can go to as well. Like, it's not hard to communicate there, which is huge. I know who's in charge. I can tell you that.
Right.
But if I can't find that guy, I know I can go to someone else who will make sure that it gets taken care of. Like, that doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah. So it's been pretty exciting then, because you've seen it so different that see, I personally look at it and I go, oh my gosh, I'm actually glad that you turned down that developmental deal in 2002. You went to TNA, you did all of this growing, all of this, and then you came, for me, it was a bigger impact, I feel.
It was everything happened the way that it was supposed to.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked when I left TNA. I had to go to Japan first. If I would have came to WWE, it wouldn't have worked the way that it should have. There were a lot of factors that came into the reason. I don't know why if they decided to hire me, if it was because, oh, well, he's kind of making a name for himself. Not only did he do it TNA, but it's really big, you know, really started doing well in Japan, and that's why we want him. Or they go, everybody's hurt right now. We need somebody else to come in. I don't know if that's the reason why I got hired, but there were certain things that happened. Yeah. And it put me in the perfect place to come out and really shine in WWE, and gave me some great opponents to do it with.
You may never know, but it's okay because the end result is the end result.
Yeah. And I don't have to know. I do know.
Yeah.
The timing was perfect.
Right. Now, you're the one that brought up that you said you did turn 40? Or are you going to turn 40?
I'm going to turn 40.
Hey, don't be embarrassed.
June.
Hey, let me ask you something. This is the way I feel about age. If you died tomorrow, would they say how young or how old you are?
Oh, they probably say how young I was, right?
Exactly.
So I didn't think about that.
If you're considered young dead, you're more than young alive, baby.
I like it.
So for you, though, but, you know, you put your body on the line every single time. And, man, when you go out there to have a match, you have a match. And you're doing high-flying things and this and that, and it's all over the place. How does your body feel at this point?
Well, I have to do certain things now to make sure that it's, stays where I can actually do that stuff, where I can still switch to that gear, which, when on my rides from one town to the next, I'm going to ice on my way. Yeah. Little things like that I didn't have to do when I was younger, but this is just part of growing up. This is getting older. And some things that, I've had to change my workouts. Like I can't do all that heavy weight that I used to when I was younger. In fact, I don't need to. I just need to maintain what I got. Right. I'll be all right. Right. Which isn't always easy because it's funny to me. I don't know why God would put this on us, but the older you get, the harder it is to work out, and the less energy to have. But you've got to work out harder as you get older to maintain what you got. Yeah. So it's like it's so much harder. Well, it does make you appreciate. That's for sure, right? It does, but you can't. The only way you're going to get that knowledge is by getting older, right? And that's as a kid you get told me a million times, like this is the way it's done, but you really appreciate it when you get older and understand it. I think you got all this useless energy when you're 25, and like. Nothing can slow you down, but then you realize as you get older, you need to slow down, not because you have to, but because it makes things better physically and entertainment wise. It's better if you'll just slow down a little bit, because there's so much that has to be digested in your body and in what you do in the ring, so people can respond to it and your body can. Isn't that what they always say, though, too? You learn how to work out smarter, not harder. That's it. Yeah, it's smarter, not harder. So for you, so if you headline WrestleMania, how do you set your goals based on, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. I want to headline WrestleMania. Or do you set them, are there different kind of goals? And if you do headline WrestleMania, then what? Well, I have goals for everything. I would assume much like anybody who's been successful. And these goals started out small, and then I got ridiculous goals that no one, including myself, could see me obtaining. But can you share, what's one of your ridiculous goals? I would love to hear it. I got to find a way. My thing is finding a way to go ahead and get outside the box, like eating lunch with President Trump. It's like that's a pretty, it may be a feasible goal, but with WWE, maybe, so, but to me, that's probably something that's never going to happen, but I'd like to. Hey, don't say that. Don't ever say that. Because right there, it stops it. Keep the energy open. Keep the energy open. Yeah, you never know. If you were in a room with him, what is it that you want to talk to him about? I would, little things like that we talked about before with, as you get older, as you know, probably, and for me, when you have kids, politics come into play because I worry about this country because my kids live in it. And so therefore stuff like, I want to know why when people pay into the system, why they don't get what they need to out of it. When it happened to my mother and father, the fact that they had jobs, they couldn't get any help from the government when they obviously needed it. Yeah. Little things like that is what I would talk to him about, because I don't think people who've never been in that situation have really understand it. It does happen, and that would be little things like that's what I would talk to him about. Yeah. So that he knows the situation that I come from, and that people take advantage of the system when they shouldn't. I think we should work for everything. I always say that I hate when people say you deserve it. Oh, I hate that word. Really? Why? Because I want them to say you earned it. Oh. You earned it. But I think it's a way to say you earned it. But you deserve it because you earned it. If they say that, then that's different. But I think that's understood. I always feel like sometimes when they chant you deserve it, no, I don't, because there's other guys who've fought just as hard to get to this point. I'll let you know when I earn it. Okay. If I earn something, they never can say I didn't work for it. So for Mania,
You want to hear the crowd saying, "You have earned it."
Yes.
All right, we are going to let that out right now. People watching this, make sure at Mania that you guys yell that out. You have earned it. I love it. Let's see if we can make that happen. Start trending it. The hashtag, you have earned it.
Everybody thinks they deserve something in this world, and we don't deserve anything.
Well, yeah,
so
the entitlements is insane. It drives me crazy. I absolutely agree with you. Everything needs to be worked. Everything, you definitely have to work hard. Nobody deserves anything, really.
And it's not fun working hard. I don't like going to the gym.
Yeah.
Most people think I may. I don't like going to the gym.
Right.
I have to.
Right.
I have to. It's part of my job.
Yeah. With your kids and you being on the road so much, do you feel like you're missing out on their lives? Does that bother you?
I sometimes do, but I figure if I work hard now, I'll get to see so much more later. Like I'm gonna hopefully get to see a baseball game this Friday.
All right.
But I probably won't get to see my oldest son play until he goes to the World Series down in Florida in late June. So there's little things like that going on. But hopefully in a couple years I'll be able to see him playing at state in baseball or something like that. I don't know. Who knows where I get to see him play? But if I work hard now, maybe I'll get to experience more stuff.
So do you see yourself, you say a couple years, do you see yourself just wrestling a few more years and that's it? Oh, and your little girl wants you right now so bad.
Annie.
Oh, this is great. Go for it.
Hold on one sec.
No problem.
Hey.
I'm holding her out.
What's the problem?
She wants meeting at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm getting in the car.
Oh, this is so adorable. It's sad but cute.
So look what I did in my finger.
I love how the dog has been in the background this entire time. I am loving this.
You see?
This, oh my gosh, she's precious. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. I've been interviewing your father. He is a rock star, amazing, amazing guy. And we're almost done here.
Okay, I'll get you in a minute, okay? No more crying. Okay?
Go.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute. No, that is precious. She can be in the background this entire time. Oh my gosh.
She's like looking like, what are y'all doing?
She's like, who the heck is that? That's so adorable. So I see it. So do you think a couple years then?
I'm thinking a couple years. I'm going to go until I can't switch that gear.
Yeah.
Because that's going to bother me if I can't do that. I want to be the AJ Styles that people expect. And when I can't be that guy, then it's time for me to leave.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to end it with this. In that Kurt Angle, when he was on here, had said, I asked him who he wanted to compete for his final match, if he ever was going to have a final match. And he mentioned it was definitely you.
I would love to wrestle Kurt again. I would love to get in the ring with him and tear it up because I know that we could. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. I think the fans would absolutely love it. I could see that totally in the making. How do you feel that he's going in the Hall of Fame?
I love it. And even when Vince was in TNA, even when Kurt was in TNA, he always talked about WWE.
Yeah.
And so I know how much this means to him.
Yeah.
To be in the Hall of Fame. It's a big deal to him. I'm super happy for him. Can't wait to see him. And I think a lot of him and I have had so many great matches and shared so many moments. This is going to be a really cool one for him.
Yeah, I know it's going to be great to be in the audience for that one for sure.
Yeah.
Well, AJ, I thank you so much. I am so excited for you because, again, you are on such an amazing journey in your life. I thank you for sharing your whole story. But more than anything, it's like, you have this thing about you, your soul, that people connect to you. I connected with you instantly, and that's more valuable than anything else. And I appreciate that about you, and how much you're sharing with the world.
Oh, you know what? I love being around people. I love obviously that moment you and I shared.
Oh, I remember that
after Mania. I'll never forget.
Yeah, the Monday after Mania.
It was huge. Just that getting that hug from you and you I kind of sensed that you felt what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like, this guy needs a hug.
Yeah.
Like that was cool to me, and I'll never forget that.
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. So thank you so much. Good luck in Mania.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Well, there you have it. AJ Styles, another incredible interview. Wow. Can you see how incredible, like, not only an athlete this guy is, we all know that, but the person in here is so special. And I just really want to thank AJ for sharing such a vulnerable story. Really, when you share your story about your entire life, it can be such an open book, but it helps us, I feel, in dealing with our own things. And the fact that he's dealing with so much with his family, 4 kids, his wife, all of that, while he's going on the road and entertaining us. And make sure, guys, remember that definitely start chanting, "You have earned it," for AJ Styles. All right, that is another edition of Making Their Way to the Ring. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lilian Garcia, and also LilianGarcia.com. And for my Facebook page, just go to Lilian Garcia official fan page. Make sure that you subscribe on iTunes, and you can check us out if you want to see the actual video. You can see his dog like parading through the background the entire time. It was so cute. His little girl came in too. It was adorable. So you can check that out at youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Thank you so much, guys. Peace, love, and much passion.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, Kevin Undergaro, Lilian Garcia, Mark Donica, associate producer James Frank, AfterBuzz Wrestling News correspondent Christy Olson, and the entire Making Their Way to the Ring staff. We would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow Lilian on Twitter and Instagram at Lilian Garcia. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later.